The message arrived at Earth Central Command on a quiet Tuesday morning. Admiral John Mason read it twice, his weathered face revealing nothing as his eyes scanned the formal invitation. After 57 years of bitter conflict with the Galactic Council, they wanted to talk peace. "They're scared," said Claire Williams, looking over his shoulder. Her diplomatic uniform was crisp, her posture perfect, but there was a glint in her eyes that spoke of carefully contained excitement. John nodded slowly. They should be. The human fleet had pushed back against impossible odds. Earth had entered the galactic stage with outdated technology and limited resources, but humans had something the 17 alien species of the Council didn't expect. Adaptability. Where Council races specialize over thousands of years, humans improvised. Where Council tactics followed centuries of doctrine, humans changed their approach weekly. "The President wants us on a ship by tomorrow," John said, handing Claire the official orders. "You, me, Dr. Green, and Major Rodriguez." Claire raised an eyebrow. "Interesting team. A soldier, a diplomat, a scientist, and a strategist," John replied. "Covers our bases." The U.S. Defiant broke orbit the following day. As stars streaked past the viewports, the 4 delegates gathered in the ship's conference room to prepare. Dr. Alan Green spread his notes across the table. "The biology of these species tells us a lot about their negotiation styles. The Exorlans evolved as pack hunters. They respect shows of strength, but view compromise as weakness. The Drovians are hive-minded. Individual representatives might agree to terms, but they'll need constant communication with their colony." Major Lisa Rodriguez nodded, her dark eyes sharp as she studied the tactical displays. "Their fleet movements tell a different story than their invitation. They've reinforced positions near our outer colonies. Insurance," Claire said. "They want peace, but they're preparing for the talks to fail." John listened carefully. 57 years ago, he'd been a young lieutenant when the Council ships first appeared in Earth's solar system. The Council had expected humanity to bow down, accept their terms, and join as a servitor race. The resulting war surprised everyone, especially when humans kept winning battles they should have lost. "We go in respectful but firm," John finally said. "Earth isn't desperate for peace. We're willing to end this war, but not at any cost." 5 days later, the Defiant docked at Centauri Station. Built in neutral space, the massive spinning habitat represented the pinnacle of Council engineering, a subtle reminder of what humans might gain through peaceful relations. As the airlock cycled open, John took a deep breath. The air tasted different, slightly sweeter, with hints of unfamiliar chemicals. "They've adjusted the atmosphere," Dr. Green whispered, checking his handheld scanner. "Still within human parameters, but altered to be more comfortable for the Council representatives." John nodded slightly. The Council was already playing games, establishing dominance through small comforts. The welcoming committee waited beyond the airlock. 6 aliens representing the Council's leading species. Ambassador Zex of the Xorlan stood tallest, nearly 8 feet of scaled muscle and sharp teeth, wearing elaborately decorated armor despite the diplomatic setting. Beside him, the Drovian representative looked almost human until you noticed the compound eyes and the subtle movements that suggested multiple minds sharing one body. "Welcome to Centauri Station," Zex said in carefully practiced English. "We are pleased humanity has finally seen reason." John stepped forward, extending his hand in the human gesture of greeting. "We've always been reasonable, Ambassador. We simply refuse to be conquered." The alien's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of irritation that Dr. Green had briefed them about. Behind the welcoming committee, John noticed additional security forces trying to appear casual. They were nervous. Good, he thought. They should be. "The Council awaits your delegation," Zex said, turning without taking John's offered hand. "We have much to discuss." As the humans followed their alien guides deeper into the station, Claire moved closer to John. "Did you see it?" she whispered. "The fear," John replied quietly. "It's written all over them. Claire smiled slightly. This will be interesting. The council chamber was a perfect circle with high ceilings and walls made of a material that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. 17 seats arranged in a ring faced a single podium in the center. The human delegation stood at this podium, surrounded by alien representatives. John noticed how the seating showed their status. The Exorlans, Drovians, and Etherians occupied the front positions. Smaller, less powerful species sat behind them. "We will begin these historic peace talks," announced the Etherian mediator, her translucent skin glowing softly. "The Galactic Council presents its terms for ending hostilities with Earth." Ambassador Zex stood, his scaled body stretching to its full impressive height. "Humanity has shown unexpected resilience." The translator conveyed his tone, making it clear this wasn't a compliment. "But the Council has existed for 10,000 years. Your civilization has barely left its planet. It is time to accept reality." Claire Williams stepped forward. "We're eager to hear your proposal, Ambassador." A holographic display appeared above the center of the room. The terms scrolled in multiple languages, including English. Lisa Rodriguez read quickly, her face growing harder with each line. John understood why. The peace terms were little more than demands for Earth's surrender. The Council wanted restrictions on human military ships. They demanded access to Earth's biological resources. Most insulting, they required human engineers to share their adaptive technology, the very innovations that had kept Earth alive during the war. "These terms are generous," Zex continued. "We will allow human self-governance of Earth and your existing colonies. You will have representation in the Council, though naturally as a junior member." John glanced at his team. Ellen was studying the alien representatives, noting their body language. Claire maintained her diplomatic smile, giving nothing away. Lisa had already pulled out her data pad, fingers moving quickly. "Before we respond," John said, "I'd like to remind the Council of some facts. Ambassador Zex mentioned our surprising resilience. Let me clarify what that means." Lisa handed him her data pad. John placed it on the podium, and new images appeared in the holographic display. Battle statistics, casualty reports, resource expenditures. In 57 years of conflict, humanity has lost 14 colony worlds and approximately 3 million lives, John stated calmly. "A terrible cost. But the Council has lost 38 worlds, 17 major space stations, and by our estimates, 12 million lives." The chamber grew very quiet. Humans entered this war with inferior technology and numbers. We now control more territory than when the war began. Council military spending has increased by 400%, while your economies have shrunk by nearly 30%. The Drovian representative buzzed angrily. "These figures are propaganda." "They are your own classified reports," Lisa said, stepping forward. "Reports your leadership doesn't share with your populations." Claire took over smoothly. "We understand the Council's desire for peace. We share it. But these terms don't reflect the reality of our position." She gestured, and a holographic display changed to show the human counterproposal. Equal status in the Council. Unrestricted rights to colonize unclaimed systems. Mutual defense agreements and technology exchange programs. The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Some whispered to each other. The Etherian mediator's glow pulsed with faster patterns. "This is absurd," Zex finally said, but his scales had paled to a dull gray. "You propose terms as if you've won the war." "Neither side has won," John replied. "But neither has humanity lost. Your terms suggest otherwise." The Etherian mediator raised her hands. "We will take a brief recess to consider the human proposal." As the alien representatives filed out, Claire leaned close to John. "Did you see their faces? They never expected us to refuse." John nodded. "They thought we came here desperate for peace at any cost." "What now?" Alan asked. John looked at the empty council seats. "Now we wait to see how badly they want this war to end." While the council representatives huddled in private chambers, the human delegation returned to their assigned quarters on Centauri Station. The rooms were spacious but plain, designed to accommodate multiple species with minimal adjustments. Dr. Alan Green sat cross-legged on the floor, his handheld scanner disassembled beside him. He frowned as he examined its readings. "Something isn't right with the air," he said, looking up at the others. "The oxygen-nitrogen mix keeps shifting subtly. Not enough to cause immediate problems, but over days, it would affect our thinking. Make us more tired, less sharp." John's face hardened. "They're trying to wear us down." "Standard council tactic," Lisa added, working on her datapad. "They did the same thing during the Proxima Colony negotiations 10 years ago." Claire paced near the viewport, watching distant ships move through space. "They're not acting like a united front. Did you notice how the smaller species representatives kept looking to the Corlins before speaking? There's friction there." Lisa nodded, turning her datapad so the others could see. "I've been monitoring communications. The encryption is good, but patterns tell stories." She pointed to a cluster of data points. "Heavy traffic between council military vessels, more than would be normal for peace talks." "They're positioning for something," John said, studying the display. Helen reassembled his scanner. "We should be careful what we eat and drink too." "I'll check everything." A soft chime interrupted them, signaling a visitor at their door. When John opened it, he found a slender Etherian standing in the corridor. Unlike the mediator from the council chamber, this one's skin glowed with fainter light. "May I enter?" the Etherian asked in a whisper. "I must speak with you privately." John hesitated, then stepped aside. The Etherian slipped in, moving quickly to the center of the room. "I am Phila," she said, "a junior representative to Mediator Vesh." Claire stepped forward. "What can we do for you, Phila?" "What I do is dangerous," Phila said, her glow pulsing with anxiety. "But you must know the truth. The council is not what it appears." "We suspected as much," John replied. Phila's light dimmed further. "The council is failing. Internal conflicts grow. Resources dwindle. The war with humans has cost more than anyone anticipated." "Then why not accept our peace terms?" Lisa asked. "Pride. Fear." Phila's voice trembled, but mostly fear. Humans adapt too quickly. Several council species believe that in a century of peace, humans would dominate the galaxy. "And what do you believe?" Claire asked gently. Phala looked at each human in turn. "I believe the council needs humans, your adaptability, your creativity. These are qualities many council species have lost through specialization, but the council leaders will never admit this." Alan frowned. "If the council is so worried about human advancement, why sue for peace at all?" "Because they are preparing something," Phala said. "I do not know details, but there are whispers of a final solution to the human problem. These negotiations are, what is your phrase? A smokescreen." Lisa's eyes narrowed. "That matches the communication patterns I've detected." Phala moved toward the door. "I must go before my absence is noticed. Please be careful. Not all on the council support these hidden plans." After Phala left, the room fell silent. Finally, John spoke. "We need to dig deeper, if they're planning something big while pretending to negotiate." "I'll keep monitoring communications," Lisa said. "If there's movement of council ships, we'll know." "I'll work on Phala," Claire added. "She's taking a huge risk by coming here. She might know more than she's saying." Alan held up his scanner. "And I'll find out what else they're hiding in this station's systems." John nodded. "Tomorrow, we go back to the negotiating table with our eyes wide open. Whatever game they're playing, we'll be ready." Morning came with artificial precision on Centauri Station. The human delegation prepared for the second day of negotiations, but Alan asked for a delay. "I need to show you something first," he said, his eyes red from a sleepless night. He led them to a small maintenance access point near their quarters. With practiced movements, he connected his modified scanner to the station's computer terminal. I spent all night searching the station's database, Alan explained. These systems are ancient, layers upon layers of data going back thousands of years. Most of it is encrypted, but I found something in the public historical archives that doesn't make sense. The screen filled with strange symbols and then translated to English. This is a record from over 5,000 years ago, Alan continued. It mentions a species called Terrans who had colonies across 3 sectors of space. Claire leaned closer. Terrans. That's what some council species call humans. Exactly. Ellen scrolled through more text. According to this, these Terrans were part of an early interstellar alliance. They had faster-than-light technology before the Chlorlans or Drovians. Lisa frowned. That's impossible. Humans only achieved FTL travel a century ago. Unless we're not the first humans to reach the stars, John said quietly. Ellen nodded. There's more. Look at this. The screen showed what appeared to be ancient ship designs. Though crude by modern standards, the vessels had a distinctly human aesthetic. Alongside them were genetic profiles that matched human DNA exactly. These records say the Terrans were involved in a conflict with several powerful species over ethical treatment of developing civilizations. Alan continued. The Terrans wanted to let younger species develop naturally. Their opponents wanted to guide them, control them. Those opponents, Lisa said, studying the names. They're the founding members of the Galactic Council. Claire's eyes widened. Are you saying that humans had an advanced civilization thousands of years ago, and the Council, what, pushed us back to Earth? The records aren't clear on how, Ellen replied. But there are references to a great forgetting and the containment of Terra. Something happened to make humans lose their technology and their memory of the stars. John's face was grim. If this is true, the Council didn't just start a war with us 57 years ago. They've been our enemies for thousands of years. We need to bring this to the negotiation table, Claire said. This changes everything. Back in the Council chamber, the alien representatives waited impatiently. Ambassador Zex rose as the humans entered. We have considered your counter-proposal, he began. It is, of course, unacceptable. However, in the spirit of... Before we continue, John interrupted. We have a question for the Council. He nodded to Alan, who activated the chamber's main display. The ancient records filled the screen. The reaction was immediate and telling. Most of the representatives looked confused, but the Xorlan ambassador's scales turned a deep red. The Drovian representative buzzed in agitation. The Etherian mediator's glow flickered erratically. What is the meaning of this? Zex demanded. These are your own historical records, John said calmly. They suggest that humans, Terrans, were spacefaring thousands of years ago, until the founding members of your council did something to set us back. These are corrupted files, the Drovian insisted. Ancient data often degrades. But John watched the older representatives carefully. Their reactions told him everything. This isn't degraded data, he said. This is truth you've been hiding. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some representatives shouted denials. Others demanded private consultation. Through it all, John noticed Thala at the back of the room, her glow pulsing in what might have been approval. We will address this unusual claim, the Etherian mediator finally said, but it will require consultation with our home governments. Take all the time you need, John replied. We've apparently been waiting for answers for thousands of years. A few more hours won't matter. The recess stretched from hours into a full day. The human delegation used this time wisely. Lisa worked with Alan to dig deeper into the station's records. Claire arranged another meeting with Thala. John contacted Earth with their discoveries, sending encrypted messages through the Defiant. They gathered again in their quarters as the station's lights dimmed to simulate evening. Earth is stunned, John informed them, returning from the secure communication room. The President has granted us new authority to renegotiate based on this information. Lisa displayed her findings on the wall screen. We found more evidence. Star charts showing Terran colonies, trading agreements, even the design specs for early human faster-than-light drives. And I met with Thala, Claire added. She confirmed everything. The oldest council species, the Exorlans, Trovians, and her own people, the Etherians, they've always known about humanity's past. It's kept as a closely guarded secret, shared only with the highest levels of their governments. Elen looked troubled. But why? Why push us back to Earth and erase our history? Fear, Claire said simply. According to Thala, humans were different from other species. More adaptable, more creative, more willing to challenge traditions. We were spreading quickly through the galaxy. The older species saw this as a threat to their power. So they bombed us back to the Stone Age? Lisa asked. Claire shook her head. Something more subtle. Thala wasn't clear on the details, but she mentioned something called the Forgetting Plague, engineered to target human neural pathways connected to technological knowledge. John paced the room. And now their worst fears have come true anyway. Humans are back in space, and we're winning a war against the very council that tried to keep us contained. There's something else, Lisa said hesitantly. I've intercepted emergency communications from several council worlds. Many of their civilizations are built on lies about their own history. If the truth about what they did to early humans became public knowledge, entire governments might collapse. The room fell silent as they considered the implications. Finally, John spoke. Tomorrow, we present our new terms. When the council reconvened, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Many representatives looked like they hadn't slept. Some species had even replaced their representatives overnight. John took the center podium, his posture straight, his voice steady. The human delegation has revised our proposal in light of recent discoveries, he began. Our terms are simple. He displayed the new demands on the chamber screens. First, formal acknowledgement of humanity's ancient civilization and the wrong done to our species. Second, immediate recognition of Earth as a founding member of a new galactic alliance, not the current council structure. Third, reparations for the 5,000 years humanity lost. The council chamber erupted. Some representatives shouted objections. Others turned to their neighbors in frantic discussion. Ambassador Zex slammed his clawed hand on his console. This is blackmail. You would destroy thousands of years of galactic stability over ancient history. Not blackmail, Claire corrected calmly. Justice. The Etherian mediator's glow pulsed rapidly. These demands would require fundamental changes to our entire galactic structure. Many member species weren't even involved in these ancient events. Then perhaps it's time for change, John replied. The Council has built its power on lies and the suppression of other species. How many others besides humans have suffered similar fates? The Drovian representative buzzed angrily. We need time to consult with our governments. This is unprecedented. Of course, John agreed. We understand this is a significant decision. Take the time you need to consider your response carefully. As the council representatives filed out, many casting nervous glances at the humans, Lisa moved closer to John. Do you think they'll agree? She asked quietly. John watched the last of the aliens leave. They don't have much choice. Either they acknowledge the truth and help build something better, or we share these findings with every species in the galaxy. Claire joined them. Either way, the council as it exists now is finished. They know it too. And if they try something desperate instead? Aelin asked. John's expression hardened. Then they'll learn that humans remember how to fight even better than we remember how to forgive. The council made the humans wait for 2 full station cycles, nearly 48 Earth hours. During this time, Lisa tracked frantic communications between the station and various homeworlds. Claire met secretly again with Thala, who reported growing panic among the council leadership. Alan continued digging through ancient records, piecing together more of humanity's forgotten history. When they were finally summoned back to the council chamber, John sensed the shift in atmosphere immediately. The representatives looked exhausted, defeated in some ways, but there was also a dangerous edge to them, like cornered animals. The Etherian mediator spoke first, her glow dimmed to its lowest setting. The council has considered the human delegation's revised demands. We have prepared a response. Ambassador Zek stood, his scales a dull gray color that Alan had identified as indicating stress. We are prepared to offer significant concessions, he began. We will grant humans expanded territory rights. We will share limited technological knowledge. We will even consider a more prominent role for Earth in council affairs. John listened carefully to what wasn't being said. No mention of humanity's ancient past. No acknowledgement of wrongdoing. No fundamental changes to the council structure. Zex continued, his voice gaining confidence. These are generous terms, far beyond what any species has received in thousands of years of council history. We expect Earth to recognize the unprecedented nature of these offers. The chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to the human delegation. John looked at his team. Claire gave an almost imperceptible shake of her head. Lisa's expression was hard, unyielding. Alan simply looked disappointed. John took a deep breath and stood. Without a word, he collected his datapad and notes. The rest of the human delegation followed his lead, gathering their materials. The representatives watched in confusion as the humans organized their belongings. "What are you doing?" the Drovian representative finally asked, compound eyes blinking rapidly. John didn't answer. Instead, he nodded to his team, and they began walking toward the chamber exit. The council erupted into chaos. Some representatives jumped to their feet, shouting questions and demands. Others huddled together, buzzing in urgent conversation. The Etherian mediator's glow pulsated wildly. "You cannot simply leave." Ambassador Zex roared, his scales flushing deep red. "These negotiations are not concluded." Still, the humans said nothing. They continued their steady walk toward the door. "If you leave now, you risk reopening hostilities," another representative called out. Lisa paused briefly at that, turning to give the alien a look that made it shrink back in its seat. Then she rejoined her team. As they reached the door, the Drovian representative buzzed loudly. "What message should we take from this childish display?" Only then did John stop. He turned to face the council, his expression calm but resolute. "The message is simple. Your counteroffer ignores the fundamental issues we raised. You refuse to acknowledge the truth about our shared history or make meaningful changes. There's nothing more to discuss. You would throw away peace over ancient history?" the Etherian mediator asked, her voice trembling. "Not at all," Claire replied. "We're very interested in peace, just not on false foundations. When you're ready to build something honest, you know how to reach us." With that, the humans walked out, leaving stunned silence behind them. In the corridor, Alan whispered, "Will they follow us?" "Some will," John replied quietly. "The smart ones." They made their way to the docking bay where the Defiant waited. Security forces watched them nervously, but made no move to stop them. As they approached their ship, a slender figure hurried toward them. "Thala, what have you done?" she asked, her glow pulsing frantically. "The council chamber is in complete disorder. Some are calling for immediate military action. Others are submitting resignations. What happens now?" Claire smiled gently. "Now, Thala, we go home and wait for the council to make a choice. Continue with lies or embrace truth. What do you think they'll choose?" Thala's glow dimmed. "I don't know, but nothing will be the same after today." "Good," John said, leading his team up the Defiance ramp. It was long overdue for a change. News of the humans' departure spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The official council statement called the negotiations temporarily paused, but no one believed it. Within days, strange reports began filtering in from border worlds and monitoring stations. On the Defiant, Heading back to Earth at maximum speed, Lisa tracked these developments with growing interest. Human outposts across contested space are being evacuated, she reported during their daily briefing. All of them, every mining operation, research station, and colony in disputed territories, gone within days of our departure from Centauri Station. John frowned. On whose orders? That's the strange part, Lisa replied. The evacuation codes came directly from Earth Central Command, but they claim they didn't issue them. Alan looked up from his datapad. I've been studying the records we brought back. I think I understand what's happening. The ancient Terrans had emergency protocols built into their command structure. It's possible those old systems are somehow reactivating. Claire shook her head in wonder. 5,000 years later. How is that possible? I don't know, Alan admitted, but the timing can't be coincidence. Something about our discovery of the truth has triggered something deep in our systems, maybe even in ourselves. The Defiant arrived at Earth 7 days after leaving Centauri Station. The planet was abuzz with activity. Ships of all sizes moved in coordinated patterns around orbital stations. The President herself met them at the landing pad. You four have started something remarkable, she said, leading them to a secure conference room. Something we don't fully understand yet. Inside, screens displayed data from across human space. Energy readings from Earth and its colonies showed unusual patterns. Scientists reported strange technological breakthroughs occurring simultaneously in labs across the planet. It's like we're remembering, the President explained. Not individuals, but as a species. Engineers wake up with solutions to problems they couldn't solve the day before. Theoretical physicists suddenly understand concepts that stumped them for years. John studied the displays. And the Council. Panicking, the President replied with a hint of satisfaction. Their united front is crumbling. 3 member species have already sent secret envoys trying to establish separate peace treaties. We've turned them all away. Why? Claire asked. Because we're not ready yet, came the answer. Whatever is happening to us, it's not complete. We need time. Over the next weeks, the pattern continued. Council ships probed human space but found nothing to engage. The evacuated outposts stood empty. Earth and its core colonies maintained communication silence except for routine messages. Monitoring stations detected unusual energy signatures throughout human territory, but no military buildup. In his office at Earth Central Command, John reviewed the latest reports with his team. The Council is coming apart at the seams, Lisa said. The Exorlans and Drovians are blaming each other for the diplomatic failure. 2 minor species have already withdrawn from the Council completely. Claire nodded. Their whole system was built on lies. Once those lies started coming apart. What about the research into the ancient records? John asked, turning to Alan. Alan's eyes gleamed with excitement. It's beyond anything we imagined. We've discovered that the forgetting plague didn't completely erase our past. It just buried it deep in our genetic memory. With the right triggers, that knowledge can be recovered. And those triggers were in the records we found. John guessed. Exactly. Our ancestors left breadcrumbs for us to follow, hoping someday we would rediscover who we really are. Alan paused. And it's working. The recovered technology alone is decades ahead of our current level. Lisa looked troubled. The Council must know this by now. They'll be getting desperate. John's expression hardened. Let them worry. For 5,000 years, they feared what would happen if humans remembered their past. Now they get to find out. Claire glanced at the star chart showing the increasingly unstable Council territories. What do we do next? We finish remembering, John said simply. Then we show the galaxy a better way forward. 3 months passed. The Council sent message after message to Earth. First demands, then threats, finally desperate pleas for response. Humanity maintained its silence. Meanwhile, the recovering of ancient knowledge continued at an amazing pace. Humanity was changing, remembering, becoming something both new and very old. Then, without warning, a single human ship appeared at Centauri Station. It was unlike any vessel seen before, sleek, glowing with soft blue light, moving in ways that seemed to bend the rules of physics. The council scrambled to assemble. Many representatives had been replaced in the political upheavals that followed the failed negotiations. Some species didn't send representatives at all. The chamber, once a symbol of galactic power, now felt hollow and diminished. When the doors opened, the council representatives fell silent in shock. John, Claire, Lisa, and Alan entered, but they were changed. They moved with a quiet grace, their eyes reflecting a deeper awareness. They seemed to glow from within, not with the artificial light of the Etherians, but with something more profound: knowledge, purpose, clarity. "Thank you for meeting with us," John said, his voice calm and measured. Ambassador Zex, one of the few who had kept his position, leaned forward. 3 months of silence, and now you return. What is the meaning of this? John smiled slightly. We needed time to remember who we are, who we were, and who we could be again. We request a full assembly, Claire added. Not just your diplomats, but your governments. All species who wish to attend, whether council members or not. The Etherian mediator's glow pulsed nervously. Such a gathering has not occurred in 1,000 years. All the more reason to have one now, Lisa replied. Faced with little choice, the council agreed. Within days, representatives from across the galaxy assembled. Some came out of fear, others out of curiosity. Many came seeking answers to the strange events of recent months. In the great assembly hall, John stepped forward, carrying a small device that pulsed with gentle light. For 5,000 years, he began, humanity forgot its history. We forgot that we once traveled among the stars, that we helped build the first interstellar alliances, that we fought to protect the rights of all species to develop in their own way. He activated the device. A soft light filled the chamber, and everyone present felt a strange sensation, a warmth, a connection to those around them. This technology comes from our ancient past, John explained. We called it the empathy field. It doesn't control minds or force agreement. It simply allows each being to sense the emotional states of others, making deception impossible, making understanding easier. The council representatives shifted uncomfortably as they felt the truth of his words. Some tried to hide their guilt over past actions, only to realize everyone could sense it. Humanity has recovered much of what was taken from us, Claire continued. We could use this knowledge for revenge. Many among us wanted to. Instead, Alan said, we offer a different path, a new beginning. Lisa stepped forward. Our ancestors helped build the first peaceful alliance between stars, before fear and control corrupted it into the current council. We offer to help build something better, an alliance of equals, based on truth and mutual respect. The light from the device pulsed gently, letting everyone feel the sincerity of the offer, but also its firmness. This was not a negotiation. You have a choice, John concluded. Join us in creating something better than the council ever was, or continue alone, without human help against the greater threats that lurk beyond known space. What threats? A representative asked, fear rippling through the field. John's expression grew solemn. The same ones our ancestors fought before we were betrayed. The same ones that make our unity essential. The same ones that the council has hidden from you for thousands of years. The assembly erupted in questions, but John raised his hand for silence. First, we build trust. Then, we face our common challenges together. That was always humanity's way. We remember that now. As understanding spread through the empathy field, many representatives nodded slowly. The old order was truly finished. Something new, something better, was beginning.